All right, everybody, welcome back to the off ramp. I am your host, Thomas Jason Anderson. We're doing it late tonight because I thought, there's so many people doing different things throughout the day. I said, hey, let me try something at night, see how that goes. There's a lot to talk about. The main thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that some of the research side of what goes on. I had a request today from some people in Region 10 in Guyana, a group called the Highlighters. They asked me to check something out, so I'll show you guys where I'm at on that. Uh, Before I do that, let me pull up. I want to pull up my Facebook page because that's usually where I can get audience questions. Um, yeah, exactly. Okay, so here we are. The world is different today. Uh, Everything seems like it's upside down. You've got the Miami Hurricanes playing in the semifinals of the college football playoffs. And for all of my friends in Region 10 in Guyana and area in Linden in these areas, um, if you guys aren't football fans, college football fans, I encourage you to learn about the University of Miami Hurricanes football team. If you guys have a spirit animal, that team is your spirit animal. All right. So you guys should probably try to get some Canes gear when the game comes on. You guys want to watch it, man. You guys will be fans of how they play. I think there's a lot of overlap between how that team plays and how you guys do things in Region 10. So yeah, do that if you can. And by the way, I predicted everybody that Miami would win, right? And I said I didn't know how they were going to win, but it would be hard. And yeah, they really they mopped the floor with Ohio State, and now they're going to play the University of Mississippi, the Running Rebels. They've got this upstart quarterback, this guy that played in Division 2A ball, which for anyone who doesn't know, Division 2 is like a lower level of competition in college football. It's where people who just can't make it in the Division 1 leagues, they play in Division 2, and they like the sport, but they're just not that talented. But this guy came out of there. He won two national championships in that Division 2, came up into University of Mississippi, and he's the star of the playoffs now. He's the guy everyone wants to talk about. So they're already downing my team, the Hurricanes, and so that just adds more fuel to our fire. And I'll predict it again. I think this game we might blow these guys out. I think we might have the most complete game we've had in many, many years. If I were to call the score now, I'm going to say it's 42-17 Miami over University of Mississippi. That's my guess. That's my prediction. So yeah, so crazy stuff going on in Maduro world. Crazy stuff going on uh when in the courtroom today. So apparently when Maduro um was arraigned, and hey, Cordell, sorry, I did not see your invite. I will try next time. After the show, I'll check and I'll try to jump on your thing. I'm sorry, man. Did not see the invite. I get so many messages lately. It's not that easy. Um, so yeah, so he got arraigned today in court, and he was asked his name, and he went into an entire speech. He said he got kidnapped. He's running. He is. Maduro is this is a show now, and he's trying to do his thing to get off the hook or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I think they've got so much evidence on him that he's gonna have a hard time with this case. And not only that, but he's going to be facing charges. I saw the governor of Florida today on X say that if they don't get him in New York federal court, that the state of Florida is waiting for him. They've got charges lined up for him next. And I don't know. I don't think a court in the city of Miami will let him off the hook. So either way it goes, I don't think Mr. Maduro is going to be a free man again for the rest of his life. It's a pretty serious deal. And yeah, he chose to try to fight to the end on this, and he's going to end up being in jail for the rest of his life because of it. So these decisions have huge ramifications. And right now, what you're seeing in the media in the United States is a bunch of people, whether they know they're on his payroll or not, they are supporting him now. And he's got massive support around the world. And so many people in the United States in the media space are giving their opinions, attacking Trump. They have no clue what they're talking about. It's like, where are these people coming from, and why are they talking now? It's interesting because it's not like this Venezuela situation popped up out of nowhere. If anyone looks back over time, you'll see that this has been on the radar for a long time, and it's been an issue that's been out on the table for a long time. Maduro it has been under an indictment for a long time. There was a $50 million reward out on his head. So this is nothing new. For all these people to come out of the woodwork now and support him and attack Trump, this is I've said this many times before. When you're dealing with Venezuela and you're dealing with Maduro and that system, you're dealing with masters of laundering money. Masters, these guys know how to get money around different monetary systems. They're experts at it. And people who are really good at that are able to get money into places that look legitimate and that are legitimate. And I just think so many people, the economy in the Caribbean and the economy in New York City and the economy of Miami is about to change really quick. And so I posted something on X today on my X page, and I said, look, um, it's about time that we implemented the money plane. And I'll show you what the money plane is. Okay, it's about time we got the money plane in. Here we go. I'll pull this thing up here. I'll do a split screen, and we can look at the money plane situation. Okay. Okay. This is the money plane. New York Magazine. This was circa, I guess it was like 1996. Okay. And it says every day the Russian mob gets a shipment of up to $1 billion in fresh $100 bills. The money flown out of JFK comes straight from the US Federal Reserve. That's right. Back in the 90s, okay, we had this thing called the money plane, and the Federal Reserve was sending freshly printed $100 bills, $1 billion a day. It was like 4 p.m., like every Wednesday or something. And they would fly this thing out to Russia to fund the rebels uh, fighting Putin in the war over Chechnya. So the people involved in this, so there was a guy named Edmund Safra who was involved in this, and he was found dead in his Monaco mansion, okay, from a fire, so-called accident or whatever, but he was like assassinated. And then another guy named Berezovsky, he was found in his London flat, hung from his like shower curtain or something. He was dead. And so the guys involved with this money plane with the $1 billion in fresh $100 bills going out to Russia, a lot of them didn't end well. And so you could kind of look at it like, oh, that was Putin going after people. Yeah, so that's how deep that goes. But I said, hey, we need to implement the money plane again. I don't mean in this way, back like to the Russian mob. No, what I mean is the whole point of the money plane back then was to get money out to these Chechens who they were being pummeled by the Russians in the military, and it was trying to help them defend their country and their homeland. And they were sending them cash because those guys, the way their culture is, like they need cash. That's just it. That's how it goes. And so I think Venezuela is kind of similar. Um, they need a lot of cash right now. And the people on the ground who are trying to keep things together with Maduro in jail, they need cash. They need American dollars to be able to do what they need to do. So yeah, I was like, we need to implement the money plane again. We need to start sending some money down to Caracas to make sure that the guys who are firing anti-aircraft shots and stuff, like get those guys like a bag of cash or something, let them go on a vacation. When they come back, give them some veterans benefits, give them a good job working on an oil project, let them do their thing, kind of a thing, but give them some time to cool off. We need money to do that. We need to implement the money plane again. This is an old school Cold War type thing, but whatever, that works. And it's much better to do this and get these guys happy down there and living life and moving on than to have them have to find a way to move on. Because if that's what happens, then you're going to get chaos down there. So, yeah, I recommend the money plane. Let's re-implement the money plane, guys. So we got that. And that's my recommendation. I think right now you see the media, these guys are melting down. Don't pay attention to people who are mad at Trump, because the real scenario here is that uh, Venezuela has been a lawless land for a long time, and it's run by a drug lord. Bottom line, Maduro's a drug lord. Everybody who works under him, drug lords. It used to be in that region that they had an ideology. This, the communist, socialist, whatever ideology. That ideology melted away. The real ideology now there is money, greed. They just want to get paid, man. I mean, that's not everybody, but that's primarily what the culture is now. Okay. And so we're not dealing with some ideological battle here. This is just about cash and opportunity, and people who have been suffering for a long time without opportunity, giving them a path to get opportunity, giving them a path to earn a living without having to deal in drugs and launder stuff, right? But that's going to take the money plane. And so, everyone's all upset and they're saying that Trump's a bad guy. He's trying to steal the oil from Venezuela. The oil is already stolen. Well, how could they steal their own oil? Yes. Guess what? People, there are people in that who can steal from their own country. That happens. That happens. Okay. And that's what's happening in Venezuela is a group of bandits are stealing the resources from the country, from everybody else. That's what's going on. And so it's already stolen oil. All right, from the people. And how is it stolen from the people? Because the government of Venezuela signed contracts with oil companies. They don't have the expertise to get the oil out of the ground. They signed the government, the people of Guyana as a whole, I mean, of Venezuela as a whole, signed contracts with oil companies. And these oil companies brought in billions of dollars and they started bringing the oil out of the ground. And this was to benefit all the people of Venezuela. Instead, it just benefited a few. And then these guys decided, well, why not? We'll just take all the infrastructure and do it ourselves and pocket the cash ourselves. And they went that far. And so now the oil industry in Venezuela is only there for the upper crust, right? It's not for everybody. And it's basically being stolen. And it's being stolen by countries like China, who are giving loans to Venezuela and knowing that they can't really pay it back. And so they're getting oil on the cheap to pay back all of this money they owe, which is like $20 billion right now. So it's not the scenario people are laying out, that this is some well-run country and the leadership there has been voted into power and they're duly elected officials. That is not the case. These guys have lost elections and just disregarded the losses and just decided we're going to take power anyway. So they are not the elected leadership. They're not. They're stealing all the resources from the country, and they're drug lords, and they're murderers. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what's really happening. And the problem is the Democrats in Congress, they had an opportunity to do oversight on this situation. This didn't come out of nowhere. The Democrats had a long time. And people say, well, they're not running Congress. You don't have to run Congress as a legislator to be able to do oversight. Legislators have something built in American law in the Constitution called the speech or debate clause. It's a very powerful clause. It allows individual members to go meet with other leaders of other countries and to have these meetings privately. They don't have to run it through the US government, through the executive branch. They can do it on their own. And whatever they discuss, the government here can't ask them what you were talking about. And so the Democrats had an opportunity to speak one on one with officials in Venezuela for the past couple of years. They never did it. Why didn't they do it? Because they knew if they spoke directly to those guys, that the information they would get back would harm the Democrats' position that they're holding now, which is we should support Maduro. If they allowed their voters to know what this guy's really about, they wouldn't be able to say what they're saying right now. So this is just an ignorance play. They've kept the American people in the dark. No one really knows what that situation in Venezuela is. And now that Trump had to take action, and he did, they're jumping out of the woodwork now, claiming that it's one thing when it's not. They're claiming that this was a peaceful situation down there, and there was rule of law, and Trump came and messed it all up. No, that's not the case. That place is a war-torn country that does not have rule of law, and it's headed up by people who stole the positions that they're in. They didn't earn them through an election. On top of that, they're drug lords. On top of that, they're murderers. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but at some point in time, when some place gets so lawless and they've broken billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of legitimate contracts, and they're taking their situation which they created, they take a hole they dug, and they use that as an excuse to partner with the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians to do things like build drones that can attack US civilians and stuff like that. Like, that's what they're doing. So they're purposefully crashing themselves into a rut just to use that as an excuse to partner with really bad people to do really bad things. And all the while, they're pocketing tons and tons of cash through the drug trade and other nefarious things that they're doing. So that's what Trump sent our military in for. Our military went in to get rid of a drug lord who is illegally usurping power in a country that he does not have legal right to be in. And he's stealing all the country's resources. And he's partnering with terrorists around the world to kill innocent people. And he's has a $50 million bounty on his head. And he's been indicted by a federal grand jury. That's who our military went after, not who these people in the media are describing. The people in the media are describing this as he's the duly elected leader of Venezuela. He's this nice guy. He does everything right. And Trump's just a bully trying to steal everyone's oil. No, man, that's not the case. The oil is already stolen. That's the issue right now. It's been stolen. Trump is setting the record back straight to the contractual norms that have been in place forever. That's what's going on. That the nation of Venezuela signed with corporations to do this with. I mean, this isn't something, no one was forced into this, right? And so here we go. Yeah, I'm looking for any more comments. So here we go. Now, I had a request by the highlighters down in Region 10, Conan and these guys. They said, hey, look at this situation with Susan Rodriguez, right? So Susan Rodriguez is the Minister of Tourism, I guess, for the nation of Guyana. It's she's been accused by a member of parliament and currently indicted individual in Miami who is also under U.S. sanctions named Nabbing Maduro. He has accused her of being corrupt and claiming that she has properties in the United States that have been obtained in ways that weren't proper per se. I don't. He hasn't really accused of any crime. I don't know, but I guess he's saying this is bad stuff. And so the highlighters in Region 10 asked me to take a look. And so I said, okay, I'll take a look. And I'll show you guys sort of like the process a little bit, um, how this goes so you can see um, how I do it. Okay, so split screen now. And as you can see, I'm on the page for something called Revel Investments, right? This entity is the entity that Mr. Muhammad spoke about when he was did like a video down in Guyana to speak about the situation here, saying that Revel Investments has purchased properties in Broward County, Florida, or Miami, or whatever, and so there's something going on there. So I thought, hey, why not pull that up and just go from there? And you can see what the entity is. You can, here's the minister, and I believe this is her partner here, right? So that's the company that they filed. This is called Sunbiz. This is for the state of Florida. If you want to incorporate a business, you have to do it through Tallahassee. This is the official state system in order to incorporate. So this is where they're at. Anyone can look at this. Sunbiz, Google Sunbiz. You can do your own search and see this. So that's where I started, right? And then you can see you open up the articles of incorporation, and it says that this entity was formed to invest in real estate, stocks, and bonds. And it was filed, the documents, at 8 a.m. on January 16th, 2024 is when this happened, right? And then I go to this, and you can see this. This is something called Amil Dial Homes. This is an entity that is involved in some of the property transactions involving the minister. And so, like, I can click on one here. Let's see if you guys can still see it on the screen. No, you can't. So like this one is with her. You can see Rodriguez, and this was April 9th, 2024. And it says here $540,000. And this is it was a deed transfer that took place. So so that's that there, right? And then I also looked at this same company in New York City, and from there you can also see this is a transaction. You can see here transaction here that took place in 2020 with some property in Queens. So this Amil Dial Homes is an entity that is involved in a lot of property transactions. And as you can see here, Amil Dial Homes LLC, how many transactions? These are all transactions. And you can see the dates. These are all, you can look at what kind of transactions they are. So, here's one right here, Lake Placid, resub, deed transfer, $1.15 million. Here's a transaction, 405,000. Here's one for 863,000. This is the one with Miss Rodriguez, 540. And so as you can see, these are, pretty good transactions, dollar amounts. And it's a lot of transactions, right? So this is an entity that does a lot of property business. And when you go in, let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. What you can see is, and this will be okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll show you this here. I'll do another screen share, right? And I'll show you guys um, what. Uh, Here we go. So what this is, so Emil Dial Homes is actually they had to file a document called a certificate of company resolutions, incumbency, and status. And you have to do that when you have to, prove that this entity, who really owns it, who's really behind it. So these are good to see in property records because then you get to see who's really behind the LLC. So for this, it says for for the undersigned Bernard Singh, member, and Gomati uh, Thakur Diak, member of Amil Dal Homes, right? And it says on here that they've attached the articles of incorporation, which we can go down to at the bottom, and you can see um, this is who signs here: Bernard Singh and Gomati Thakur Diak. I guess is how you pronounce your name. But these are here's the articles of incorporation, right? And you can see here who's in here, who the members are. Here are the members, right? And so once you have that, then you can go through these transactions and these properties, and there's different things that you know now that I'm now looking at that are very interesting concerning all of this. So I should have more news on this tomorrow or sometime soon so that you guys can see more as to what's going on with these property transactions and sort of what I'm looking at because I think it's pretty interesting. So other than that, I just wanted to update you guys on all of that. Wanted to hit you up on the hurricanes and also on the situation in Venezuela. I'll be back on tomorrow. This is Off Ramp Politics. Want you guys to have a great evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.